Okay, today's Q&A is about medical drinks. And the question is, are there any questions, Kashrus questions a person needs to know or needs to ask before they drink something in preparation for a medical test? So, a couple of different types of drinks that a person might be taking. The simplest are the ones like a person takes the Kashrus before an MRI, where the drink is made of innocuous ingredients. There's nothing, no Kashrus concern, no problem. Most times there's usually some kind of a question at all, some kind of a question, and sometimes they're actually available with hashgacha, like a glucose drink for gestational diabetes. Those drinks, it's possible to get them with hashgacha, so they need hashgacha. It's easy, you can get them. So with a little bit of work beforehand, before you go to the doctor, you can make sure that they have one or bring one along with yourself that has hashgacha. Now, and there's another type of drink, which is like the drinks that a person takes when they need to do a clean out before a colonoscopy. They may not be certified, but then there are options that don't need hashgacha at all, such as Miralax in a mixed into a kosher beverage, or taking a tablet. All tablets don't need hashgacha at all. Now, if before a person does that, of course, they need to check with their doctor if that's medically suitable for the reason that they need, for what their needs are, and if they are, wonderful. If not, then you're going to have to look at the ingredients, bring the ingredients to a kosher professional or someone familiar with food ingredients to decide how kosher sensitive this is, and then you can bring that information to the rabbi, who can say as well, let's look at your medical conditions, and does your medical condition warrant taking a beverage with these type of kashrus questions to them. Okay, now all of this is for what I've talked until now was about when you're taking a drink in preparation for some kind of a medical test. And the same kind of idea comes up when you think about other drinks or other liquids that people take for health purposes. Like, for example, if a person wants to give gripe water to an infant who has colic, or a bodybuilder wants to drink a high-calorie shake, or someone has infertility and they want to use Chinese an herbal tea. So all these kind of questions is the most obvious. The best choice is obviously to find one that has hashgacha. Then you know you're clear. Or you can find one that has no kosher sensitive ingredients. That's also good. If neither of those are okay, then again, you need to bring the ingredients to someone who can evaluate them from their kashrus perspective, and then take that information to a rabbi who will say is the reason why you're using this medicine a justification for taking something that has this possibility of not being kosher. Now, what about one last type, which is when we give liquid medicines to children, sometimes even to adults, like for a fever or for a cold medicine or antibiotics. So everything we've said until now is true for there also. Again, we could look for, usually these they pretty rare that these should have hashgacha, but sometimes we could find ones that don't have any kosher sensitive ingredients, or sometimes they do have sensitive ingredients, but the rabbi will say that it's under the circumstances the child is able, or the person is able to take them. But there's yet one more factor to consider, and that is there's a general principle, which is that when food is usher, it's usher, when the form that it's in is edible. When it becomes inedible, then the isser falls away. The issa that was on it doesn't exist anymore. And the question is, what is the criterion for edible? Well, how do we decide whether something is edible? So here there's a difference of opinion between different rabbis. Some take the position that the only things that are edible are the things that you would eat if you had a choice. If you were to given three things in front of you, an apple, a pear, and this food, would you take this food? So if you think about it like that, then all cough medicines and these things a couple that I mentioned, antibiotics and things like that would not qualify as edible, because nobody who had a choice to eat, two regular foods or the antibiotics would choose that. It doesn't taste good enough to do that. So some people say then, therefore, it's not considered edible, and and you can use it. Others say that in order to be considered inedible, it has to be revolting, or you could barely get it down your throat. And most liquid medicines nowadays do not qualify for that. Most of them are pleasant enough tasting that they would not qualify. According to those poskim, then it would be just like everything else I said until now, which is you'd have to look at the ingredients, evaluate them, how sensitive they might be, and then have the rabbi consider, well, for the sickness that I have, is it okay for me to eat something that might be not kosher in that way?